When Grant first came home from the hospital, it was a complete change from what we had experienced before. He was the focus and the only focus.
When she was released from the hospital, they had recommended the community brain injury program. She required all her therapies because she had left the hospital quite early.
Someone from the program did a home assessment, got us on track as to what we could expect.
You didn't really have to worry about, should I be calling in a physiotherapist? Should I be calling in an occupational therapist? They just organized it all for you.
Being one of the first person to get funding from the community brain injury program was a very good help to me and to my family members. They were there, just a short phone call away.
The Community Brain Injury Program for Children and Youth provides rehab services for kids in British Columbia when they return home from hospital after an acquired brain injury. The program is 6 months long, and the intensity and frequency can vary depending on the child's needs. All the brain injuries that kids get are unique and different, and so we find out what the family's priorities are, what the hospital is recommending, and what works best for the family once they're home. We provide information about the actual brain injury that the individual has, helping them understand how their body is different and how they can learn to adapt. We have a network of therapists throughout the province that we contract with to meet the needs of the child or youth. We bring together individual therapists that are needed for the person, and we help them to become a team.
Walk to school. This is the way we walk.
Some have pediatric experience of working with very young children under 5 years old. Others work with the 16 to 18, 19-year-olds.
As an occupational therapist, we work on 3 basic areas: self-care, productivity, and leisure.
Hi, Cameron. Hi. How are you?
Good.
I like your shirt. It's very nice. It's a Scooby-Doo.
For self-care, we're looking at feeding, dressing, toileting, and bathing. For productivity, for kids, it's often play. For older child, it's school. And for leisure, we're looking at recreational activities.
Yeah. How it goes? Okay.
Everything has to be fun, and kids are motivated to play.
Lots of space, so I'll put this stuff down.
I come with a few activities, and they get to choose what they want to play with. So again, they're motivated because they've picked the thing that they want to do. After an injury, a family is in a state of stress. You know, often these parents and the child have been in the hospital every day for months. So it's a very unstable time for them. And when they come home, we're in right away. And often I'm getting phone calls, you know, this is what happened, or what should I do now? And so it's nice for them to have a go-to person.
3 circles like that, and then I want you to close your eyes and do your circles.
Given what he had gone through and his nature, he's a very sensitive child, and so the relationships really became a huge part of his progress. For him, a lot of it became about the therapist that he really enjoyed being with.
Ross. Square.
It's a square.
Well, speech therapy helps the kids in the brain injury program by helping them to communicate in ways that they couldn't before.
Oh, nice hug.
So for some it may be a motor speech disorder where the muscles of the tongue, lips, face aren't working properly, so we do strengthening exercises, which eventually increases intelligibility, which makes them easier to understand. For kids such as Ella, it may be just facilitating language. So where she wasn't speaking much when I first met her, now she's using 3 to 4 word utterances quite frequently. Whatever the child's interest is, I try and develop a therapy activity around that. So with Ella, she's really into her Barbies and her princesses, so whenever I can incorporate them into therapy activities, I do.
3 penguins. Good counting, Ella.
I always start off of looking at what they're able to do, and then I try and see, well, what is difficult for them? And also looking at the energy of the child, how motivated they are, how they react to people, and having an understanding of how the child is within the family. We'll give her a range of activities and then maybe pick out 1 or 2 things that we're working out on specifically at this time. But it depends on the family. Some families like a lot of structure, some families can't cope with that, and so when I'm meeting a family, I'm not going with a preconceived idea of what I'm going to do.
Families know what they need, how we could support them, and they know what's work and what doesn't work. The professional team can impart their skills and knowledge, so the family understand why the professional teams are doing certain things. It's based on their knowledge and how to really modify the intervention based on what worked for the family and what worked for the child.
The priority is for them to, at some point, return to school with the necessary supports if that's required. One of the things we do partway through is to talk with the parents about what their thoughts were for their sons and daughters to return to school. We do a joint visit with the school and do some transition planning. Our therapists are very involved in making recommendations to the family beforehand about what they think will be needed in the school setting for that individual.
For Jenna's return to school, there were a few people that were involved. One, the teacher from the Sunny Hill Hospital who does the integration into the school system came out and met with the school teachers that Jenna was going to be going to and talked to the children to explain what had happened to Jenna and how she was different than before, which helped ease the situation for Jenna. The occupational therapist had gone in to check the seating with Jenna, how her wheelchair would be able to fit into one of the student desks.
I take it one day at a time.
He can learn, but at a slower rate. It takes him a longer time for the output. He has a one-on-one tutor, a lot of work for her, and he needs to have everything put into his computer, so when he reads the material from the text on his computer, it also speaks the words, and that's how he learns best.
Grant, what is your favorite thing to do in physiotherapy?
Finish.
What are you going to do with that answer? Come on. Now look, this is not a time to be a comedian. He has written a couple of provincial exams and passed those. So, yeah, we've just got hopes that he will do well in the future. But however he goes, he will learn, and he enjoys learning, and that's what education is. Grant used to be interested in snowboarding, skateboarding, and of course now that has all changed, and so we just get outdoors and do what we can out there. Roger takes in kayaking and canoeing and horseback riding, and it's just changing and adapting to what he can do.
And now he drives our boat. If he can drive his power chair around school and not maim some of his classmates, he can sure drive a boat on the lake. So yeah, we try to have him have as many experiences as he possibly can.
We want families to be well prepared for the time when they finish with our program at 6 months. We want them to have developed some advocacy skills. We want them to know about the community resources that are available for them.
When you have a child with disabilities, it's a long journey. The professionals come and go, but the family is there for the whole 9 yards.
I've got a couple of young kids, and they love being around their Uncle Grant. The kids will roughhouse with Grant, and I'll be there. And a lot of times, though, I'm trying to incorporate therapy in. Grant has really wanted to walk, and so we have really looked at what's the best method for him. So we did a lot with the canes, and now we find the walker seems to work well. And it's a lot of how he can be more independent. I look at how can we make sure that he has many moments during his life, during his day, that he is really enjoying things. What will make his day? That when he goes to bed at night, he would say, it's been a pretty good day.
We want them to be able to feel comfortable calling anytime. And we have people that phone us, and their sons and daughters have been out of the program for 5 or more years, and they phone up and we know who they are right away.
Right now I'm looking into that sun, and it's just about to the minute on the same day 10 years ago, having the argument with my mom saying I'm not studying for my final exams, I'm going riding my bike, and having her give in to me, saying just go and ride your bike then and just be home before sunset. Plug on my bike, and I went down that hill, and the sun was in my eyes, and I hit that gate, and my life was changed forever. I had to relearn how to walk again, talk again. It's just like having an infant baby and teaching them how to do everything again. Being one of the first person to get funding from the Community Brain Injury Program was a very good help to me and to my family members. They were there to talk to. They'd be there just a short phone call away. They helped me, and they could answer the questions we needed answered or get the funding that we needed. When they say you can't, you can. And when you think you failed, you already have. I just look at my little son Reed, and I'm the happiest man in the world.